Hey everyone, welcome back to the Craft Parenting Podcast, the podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Joe Ludwig, and with me is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline.
Hey boo, how be you?
Yeah, how's it going, Caroline?
I'm feeling pretty tired now. That was
An interesting evening.
Yeah. It's been a fun day.
It is a holiday weekend. We ran out of back episodes. So we are actually recording a few days before this releases, which we don't always do that.
No, we took a mini podcast break. Well, I mean, I did. You still did stuff.
Yeah. So recently, I appeared on a local podcast called Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
That is a thing in which you did.
Yes. And
you really brought out the dad jokes for that one.
it was very dad joke heavy, and it was fun. It was a great time. I went out on a Tuesday. Caroline, you were at home with the kids.
I was. We survived. Everyone got baths, I think. It was bath night. I'm like...
No, you gave them baths.
I
heard about it. I heard about it.
I don't remember what they did. I just remember it was eventful.
Yeah, so if you want to hear that episode, it's up on our website, which is craftparentingpodcast.com. So I just did a quick post and I embedded the episode there. And if you would rather listen to it on your phone or whatever medium that you want, I believe they are on YouTube. And you can just search on your podcast app, Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
They're a Cincinnati craft beer podcast that recaps local Cincinnati craft beer podcasts.
It's very meta.
It is super meta.
So that's what I did recently. Caroline, you wanted to talk about what you just did?
So, wait, which one of the things that I just did? Because I've done a lot of things recently.
The thing in which you took our youngest and you went on a hike.
Oh, yeah.
Randomly at dusk.
There was still a lot of daylight. So we went out and explored the Hopewell Mounds with my mom and Larry this morning, and went out and got some lunch. And Lily fell asleep in the car between exploring the mounds and lunch, and then never napped again. We watched Lilo and Stitch. We watched The Little Mermaid in an attempt to get her to nap. Neither of those things worked. She was still going. So we're like, okay, let's just keep going. So before Joe started making dinner, we set up the splash pad. Lily had a ton of fun running in and out of the splash pad. And then we woke up Elliot because he actually napped. He was the good kid today.
Mm-hmm.
And he also enjoyed running in and out of the splash pad. We came inside, we ate some dinner, and I look over and Lily is starting to fall asleep in her chair.
She was sleep eating.
I think she had stopped eating at that point. Because I had complimented her. I was like, you're doing a really good job of using your fork to eat your dinner. I'm starting to think that was because she was too tired to do any other method to eat her food. And I was also perplexed as to why she was not super stoked about garlic bread. Because the only things that the kids like more than spaghetti with almost any kind of topping on it is garlic bread. And she let her sit. So I look over and she's nodding off. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's just time to put you in bed, as it's 6:15 in the afternoon. This is way in the evening. This is way earlier than your bedtime, but we're not going to be able to keep you up any longer than this and still have a functioning human being. So you put her to bed. We finished up dinner. Elliot had some nice one-on-one time with everybody because nobody else was there.
He had a solid 2.5 hour, 3 hour nap. So
yeah.
He had all of the energy.
He did. And so then I decided in my infinite wisdom that because Lily was asleep, but Elliot was very much awake, and I still kind of wanted to do things, that I would take Elliot on an exploratory hike that would be a distance of our choosing. And I didn't realize that distance of our choosing was going to be 1.5 miles uphill for half of it. Made the walk back home really nice though, because it was all downhill. But we decided to do a 1.5 mile hike, some mom and Elliot time. It was lots of fun. He had a blast.
And he was in the backpack.
Yep, I had him in my backpack, so I had an extra 25 pounds of resistance weight. But it was easier for him to be in the backpack than it would have been for me to push him in a stroller. So I'm glad I went with the backpack route. And then when we got back, he just pretty much conked right away. He got his nature time. He yawned quite a few times on the walk back to the house.
I'm sure he was very warm, though.
He was very warm. My back felt very, very moist. And then I did some yoga, and now I'm drinking beer and embroidering and podcasting.
Yeah.
Because I can't just do one thing at a time. I have to do like 4 things at a time.
Yeah, that is the way these days, multitasking, right? So we have another great show planned out this week. We are going to talk all about potty training. And
oh, man.
I know. And we are by no means experts on this matter. And we are in the beginning stages of potty training. So in a way, this episode is a pep talk. And it is us. It's pep talk to us.
And research. Because I've just been kind of winging this.
Yeah. So it's forcing us, this episode is forcing us to do research on how to potty train. And it is holding us accountable because we are recording and we are going to put this out into the ether, into the internets.
And if we want Lily to start preschool in 2 months, we got to get her potty trained.
Yeah. So she needs to be potty trained by September, or at least somewhat. Right.
Enough where she doesn't get kicked out of preschool.
Yeah.
Or if she does get kicked out of preschool, we can rally, super get her potty trained and get her back in.
So this episode we'll talk specifically about potty training girls.
I mean, we'll cover some tips and tricks for potty training boys.
Our experience right now is for girls. We've heard some horror stories about potty training boys. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure we will have a whole episode dedicated to our youngest son, Elliot.
With love.
Yes. And potty training boys. But let's go ahead and dive in and get started. So before we talk about the potty training, I noticed that you have an adult beverage in front of you. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Downstream Jam Dark Cherry Goza from Royal Docks Brewing Company in Canton, Ohio. It is 4.7% ABV. I realized that we had another Goza that was not from Westside in our fridge after we finished recording the Goza episode. But we just kind of decided to roll with it and stick with just the Westside stuff anyway. This was canned on 5/25/22 at 11:48 a.m.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sorry. It was born in Canton on 5/25/2022.
Well, it has a short life, I guess.
I think I've drank this on the show before. It's jammy. It's Goza-y. It's delicious. I want more of it in my life, but I think this is like the last or second to last can.
I think I think that might be the last.
Oh no.
Potentially. We would have to check.
Where's the want noise?
Womp womp.
But enough about my delicious sadness. What are you drinking?
I am drinking Pendragon Spiced Rare Wit. It is also by Royal Docks Brewing up in Canton, Ohio. ABV is 5.9%. IBUs 13. This is delicious. I posted this on my Instagram the other day at Craft Parenting Joe, and I love the artwork. It reminds me of the movie 300. This is Sparta.
I think that's what they're going for.
It definitely doesn't look like 300, the movie 300, but it does remind me of it. There's a dude with a shield.
Well, yeah, because it's Arthur Pendragon, the King of England.
Is that who it is? It doesn't say on the can what this is.
I read the description during our podcast episode.
You did, yeah.
I know because I listened to it recently.
Anyway, it is delicious. I've never heard of the style Rare Wit. I'm assuming that's just a wit beer, a spiced wit beer.
Yeah.
It's kind of light and hazy, but it has this like peppery spice taste to it. Good. But like I said, I mean, I've never heard of a Rare Wit, but I would buy this again if we can find it. So it's very good.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can find it anywhere local.
So now it is time for What's Bugging Caroline in children's TV, where you, Caroline, tell us all about the lack of physics and logic in children's TV. So what is bugging you this week?
So we've been watching a lot of old school Barney lately because apparently that's what the kids are into these days when their grandparents introduce them to the Barney that you used to watch when
Thanks, Mom.
you were a kid. Yeah, because that's been so much fun getting those songs stuck in my head. But in Barney Live, I don't even know which one it is. You're the one that always finds it. It's basically like Barney and Friends, but in New York on a stage. So, and it's like the 90s, so fashion is very interesting.
They did a whole montage in the beginning of all the kids going into the theater with their parents.
It is like, oh my goodness, I had half of those outfits.
And the hair.
Oh, yes, the hair. The hair is a thing.
Screams 90s.
It really does. But there's the Winkster who has stolen the Barney bag, which I completely forgot was a thing.
I did too.
Whatevs. And he's like, he goes on and on about, as you can see, I'm as little as can be, so you're never going to catch me. But he's like bigger than Baby Bop and all of the children. And he might even be like close in size to Barney. So he's not that little. And so like, it's very confusing as to like, oh, how can you be little as can
I don't
be?
remember this character. Did they make him up for this show or?
I think they made him up for the show. So what he does is he steals the Barney bag and he keeps running away with it. So the kids are trying to catch him. Well, the kids and Barney are trying to catch him because they made us a surprise to thank us for coming to the show. And then the Winkster steals the Barney bag. So now they can't show us the surprise. And oh my goodness, now we have to find the Winkster and get the Barney bag back. And it's an ordeal for the whole show. Like, hey kids, tell us when you see the Winkster. And they finally catch him and get the bag back. And
He gives it back.
Or no, he gives it back. That's what it is. Because the stars come out because the show is so long that now it's the middle of the night and we can see all of the stars. And they're like, starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might. Find the wish I wish tonight. And some of the kids say wishes. And then the Winkster says his wish. And it's that he wants friends. And then he gives the bag back because he stole the bag so people would play with him. But now I wish I had real friends who wanted to play with me all the time, not just because I took their things. Which is like a great lesson to teach your kids. But if you're going to like say that you're as little as can be, like maybe find a smaller actor or make your other actors bigger. I don't know. It bothered me a lot. I know Barney is all about using your imagination, but
It did not bother me at all. Out of all the things in that particular show, that's what bothered you.
to be fair, I don't watch anything else. That's like very early on. And then I just stopped watching.
BJ has a cannon.
Oh, yeah, BJ does have a cannon because he's going to shoot out of it. Say the alphabet backwards 3 times, do 10 flips, and oh, did anybody bring a pillow so I have something soft to land onto? Like peak thinking right there. Like let us plan what we're going to do. This is totally perfect.
And Barney says, yeah, you can't.
At least Barney's being the voice of reason in this one.
And let's see, they bring out a bed with a bunch of monkeys.
Yeah, the kids like to mimic the monkeys jumping on the bed, which is great for no more monkeys should be jumping on the bed because people are falling off the bed and getting hurt.
Yeah, so Baby Bop and Dr. Sean do the song together. And Baby Bop at the beginning of the song says, remember kids, don't do this at home.
And then our kids proceed to do it at home.
Because they see, yeah.
Because monkey see, monkey do.
Literally.
Like literally today, Lily decided that she's going to pick up the skirt of her dress. And albeit she picked it up a little too high, but she picks up the skirt of her dress to spin around in circles. So then Elliot picks up the front of his shirt to show off his whole belly and starts spinning around in circles as well. Because monkey see, monkey do, and imitate poorly. Because he's not big enough yet. So, yeah.
Is there anything else that's bugging you?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so now it is on to our main topic, which is all about potty training tips and tricks. So let us get into it and let us cheerlead ourselves.
And educate ourselves.
Yes. So, when do you potty train your child? Like, what are the signs that you look for? And, well, according to the internet,
You mean it's not you want your child to go to preschool and they have to be potty trained before they can go to preschool?
well, there might be some wake up calls in this. So, it goes without saying that your child needs to be mentally ready in order to potty train. You can't force them to do something that they don't want to do.
I mean, that goes for saying with most things with children, unless if you can physically pick them up and remove them from the situation, and then you have to be like 3 times stronger than normal because they will be kicking and screaming the whole time. There is not a lot that you can force a child to do.
Several areas of development need to line up before potty training, including they have to be able to communicate, you have to be aware of their bodily functions, they have to understand how much time they need to get to the potty.
And by that, you mean when I get the feeling versus when I need to be sitting on the potty. So like if
they're outside
and they feel like they have to go potty, oh my goodness, I can't wait and finish kicking this ball around. I have to go now.
Yeah. So they have to understand that. And then they have to be able to communicate that they have to do that.
Yeah.
So how do you know if your child is ready? You might know if your child is ready. And this is very ambiguous, right? So there's no right answer to this. Each child is unique. Each child is different. That's just the way it is. When we have 2 kids, Elliot could potty train tomorrow if he's ready. He's not
I doubt
ready.
he is.
He's not ready, but
he could.
He could. And he's not even 18 months yet. Whereas Lily, she's almost 3. She's not quite 3.
No. She's 2 3/4.
Yeah.
Plus a month.
So, how do you know if your child is ready? 1, your child might be interested in the potty.
Check.
2, they might tell you that they need a diaper change.
She runs away and hides from us. Like, she knows that she needs one, but she's just going to run away.
Yeah. Like, I can tell when she needs a diaper change.
There's definitely a behavior shift, so she knows that something has happened.
And then 3, they might tell you when they have to go, or they might tell you when they already went. So Lily kind of does that.
Yeah. She's figuring that one out a bit more.
And then I have next on this list, potties and potty accessories. So of course you need the potty seat.
So the potty seats can vary a lot. You can either do like a legitimate little potty that you can take and move around places and can just pretty much follow your child around the house. Like, you have to physically move it. Like, if your kid's playing in the living room, you can put it in the living room. And if you're going to go play outside, you can put the potty outside. So the kid always has access to it so they can use it whenever they want to.
I'm not a fan of that.
I am not a fan of that either.
Because then you have to clean it.
Well, 1, you have to clean it. And 2, then you have to transition them from that potty to the toilet.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories about that too.
Yeah, because then kids aren't used to the toilet and now don't want to use it because it's this big scary thing. I'm a big fan of the potty inserts that you put on, like the seat inserts that you put on your own potty. And we recently upgraded to one that has steps because all of our toilets are tall. So Lily can step herself up onto the potty.
And she got really excited about that.
She did. She was a huge fan. 1, it has a teddy bear on the back of it. And 2, she is like definitely in this phase where she is grateful for everything, which I love. She's like, oh, it's so beautiful. You made this for me? Thank you. It's so cute.
In her sleepy state this evening, she said, "Thank you for making dinner, Daddy."
It was so cute.
And she does that even when she's not tired.
Yeah.
So other accessories you might need are big kid underwear.
Check.
Preferably with, a character that they like.
Right now we have Ariel. We might need to go out and buy some more. So we have a variety of characters. But yeah, we do have some big girl underwear. We're going to try those out tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. We have a plan, and I don't know how well it's going to go. We'll see.
Next on this list is a sticker chart. So this is a chart that when your child goes, they can put a sticker on the chart.
Alternatively, I have heard of people who put the stickers on their child as they go throughout the day. So then, like, if I was home with Lily during the work day and Lily went to the potty 5 times, she would have 5 stickers on her shirt or her dress. And then when you got home, she'd be like, look, Daddy, look at all the stickers that I got today. Because some kids aren't necessarily motivated by like stickers on a chart. They would like the stickers on themselves. So that is a thing that I have heard about. Maybe we need to go buy stickers tomorrow.
We have stickers. Also, where do you buy stickers? The sticker store?
Around.
And then the last potty accessory, which I don't know a whole lot about, but I know friends who have used it, this is the Potty Watch. This is a watch that you can program to go off every X amount of time, 30 minutes, hour, 90 minutes.
Yeah, so what the Potty Watch does is instead of you being the timer, the watch is the timer. And then that kind of takes you out of the equation a little bit.
You being the parent.
Yes, you being the parent.
Yeah, but does the kid know? Like, what
you
is
have
that?
to work on it.
What does that teach the kid? You know?
Yeah, I mean it's
the child.
It's more of a, hey, you are mildly in control of this timer, so you have a little bit more control over the situation than just Mama's going to tell you what we're going to do and you're going to stick with it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get a potty watch, but I know friends who have used it.
Yeah, I'm down for not adding more technology into the situation, but we'll see.
All right, so moving on to Joe and Caroline's top 10 tips and tricks for potty training.
These are
that we found on the internet.
Yes, these are things that we have found on the interwebs, mainly from parents.com and pampers.com.
Link in the show notes.
But it's also like based off of what we have experienced so far with Lily and what we've heard from our friends as far as stuff that they have experienced with their kids.
All right, so let's move through this list. It's super exciting.
Woohoo! We're really hitting the parenting side
of the craft.
Yeah. Have fun listening to this one, Julia. Marco, you have lived this. Let us know if you have any tips or tricks that could help us out. Maybe just randomly say them in the next episode of Truth, Beer, and Podsequences with zero context. Confuse everyone.
So tip number 1, don't get frustrated if things are taking a long time. And I've got bad news for us. According to this...
What's the bad news? No.
According to this article on parents.com, the 2 big surprises for parents are that potty training isn't fast and it isn't smooth.
Well, so I mean, technically, we've been potty training Lily for well over 6 months, but we've been going about it very slow. We have a potty seat. Anytime we notice her diaper's dry, we stick her on the potty. And like before we got in the bath, we'd stick her on the potty, like trying to get her used to the potty. And we let her we would flush the potty the first few times. Now she gets to flush the potty after she goes. So she has fear of public restroom flush toilets because they are very, very loud, but she has no fear of any of the toilets in her house, which is nice. So I mean, technically we've been doing this for a while. We're just kicking it up like 5 gears.
Yeah.
To try to
She really wasn't
kick the diapers.
She really hasn't been ready.
No, she's
super ready.
She's too busy playing and teaching her baby brother all the bad things to do.
And if you really if you want to get technical about it, she hasn't worn a traditional diaper for a very long time. Probably 2 months.
Yeah, we're strictly in pull-ups and Pampers 360s at the moment.
Yeah,
so stuff that functions more like underwear.
So yeah, we transitioned from the traditional diapers, quite a while ago.
Yeah.
To kind of push the underwear. Okay, so tip number 2, and to quote Jedi Master Yoda, patience. Patience is the key to potty training. I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the more you rush it, the more damage you'll potentially do. There's a potty training method that works for some people, and it's called like the 3-day potty method. And basically it's you do not leave your house and you do not put your kid in a diaper ever for 3 days straight. And you don't ask them, do they have to go to the potty? You just say, like, every hour, tell me when you have to go potty. So basically, like, nagging them. It works for some people. Other people have said that it actually super regressed their children because you dive into it so fast that their child then became afraid of the potty and using the potty and was just like, no, I'm only doing stuff in diapers. And it was like a whole other year or two before they could fully potty train their kid because they had to undo all of the stuff that had gotten messed up in their kids' minds. So that was fun to learn about. So yeah, definitely take your time and have some patience.
Heed Jedi Master Yoda. His advice.
Yes.
Tip number 3, stick to a routine. Whatever you do at home with your potty training plan, you need to do it everywhere. They need to know the child needs to learn to go potty outside of your house too. So, and Lily, for the first time, recently went to your work.
Yep. She hung out at work with me for a few hours, and she went pee-pee on the big girl potty at mommy's work. She got 3 M&Ms for that one, which usually it's 1 M&M because they're peanut butter M&Ms. So they're like high value M&Ms. So normally it's 1 M&M for every time she goes pee-pee on the potty. But she got 3 because she went on the very scary potty at mommy's work.
Like the industrial.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
It was and like I had to hold her so she wouldn't fall in. I'm still learning how to like do this with her as well. Apparently I'm supposed to be putting her on backwards. I don't know how well that works either. I guess we'll try that next time.
Tip number 4, be consistent. So pick a plan and stick with it unless things start going sideways. If you're doing one method one day and a different method the next, your child may get confused. So if your plan is to put the child on the potty every hour, that's something you need to stick with.
Unless if your child is screaming bloody murder every time you put the child on the potty. And then, okay, maybe we need to figure out what's going on with this before we continue using this method. Fortunately, we have not had that issue. And usually it's the times when Lily is like, no, I don't have to go potty. That's like when she goes right away. So it's very, I didn't put something in here. Bonus tip, say the opposite of what you want the kid to do. Toddlers are very contrarian. So sometimes in order to get them to use the potty, you have to say, no, I want you to stay in diapers forever so mommy can take care of you like a little baby. No, mommy, I want to use the big girl potty because I'm a big girl now. I'm not a baby anymore. Okay, honey, if you insist, but what? But no, don't. Oh, oh no, you're using the big girl potty. This is terrible.
That is totally Lily. I don't think she would fall for that though.
She is really smart sometimes.
I don't think she would.
I don't think so either.
So tip number 5, which we kind of touched on, find something your kid likes and use it as a potty time reward. Some kids like stickers. Some kids like change, like coins.
Yes, like coins.
And they're piggy banks.
Yep.
What is this?
1990? I don't know.
I've never heard of this.
AskParents.com.
Never heard of this change stuff.
Specifically, there was a quote from a parent where they gave their kid this like a 1 penny every time she went pee and 2 pennies every time she went poo. And she is going to be a dragon when she grows up and just hoard all of her gold because she liked to shake the jar to see and feel how much heavier it was getting.
Oh, wow.
And then when she was fully potty trained, they turn all those pennies into quarters so she could ride the rides at the mall. Because this is 1990. Because I don't even know if there are still rides at malls. Do malls even exist? I don't know.
We're having an existential crisis here at the Craft Parenting Podcast.
I mean, I feel like that's a thing that we do on a weekly basis, but let us continue.
Some kids like M&Ms. Lily really likes the peanut butter filled ones.
So she helped me pick those out at the store. Now, granted, my mom introduced peanut M&Ms, and then I had some trail mix that had peanut butter M&Ms in it, and we had ran out of mom's extra stash of peanut M&Ms at our house. So I gave her some peanut butter M&Ms. And then we had to run errands at Target to get like 2 things, where we bought like 20 things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things was we went to the candy aisle, and I gave Lily the choice between like 3 or 4 different styles of M&Ms and said, which one do you want? And she said the peanut butter. So she picked out the peanut butter M&Ms herself.
Yeah, so don't be above bribery.
No. Bribery is your friend. So tip 6 is location. Because figure out what will work for you. So some parents get a small potty that hangs out in their kids' main play area space, and they slowly move it closer to the bathroom. So like the potty always lives in the living room because the kid mostly plays in the living room. And then I just slowly bring it closer to the bathroom. So like if there are stairs between the living room and the bathroom, the potty goes to the bottom of the stairs. and then the top of the stairs, and then slowly we'll get closer to the bathroom. So the kid has to go a little farther every day or whatever your moving schedule is. So they get used to, okay, I need a little bit extra time to get to the potty. So other people just go straight for adapter seats on their own toilets, which is what we're doing. And then others just go without any fancy accessories at all. They're just straight on the normal toilet. But most people put their kid on backwards. So the kid's facing the toilet bowl instead of like the traditional way that you sit on the potty.
I know we were talking to my mom, and we had toys that sat on the back of the tank while we were sitting backwards.
Yeah, you guys had toys on the back of the tank. I've heard of people who like would give their kids expo markers so they could draw on the toilet seat, like the toilet lid, and color on that. I mean, whatever works for you. We have another small child in the house, so a small potty in the play area does not make sense for us, unless if we want a very gross sensory experience for our children.
Extremely gross.
Which we do not. Elliot is very curious and not very bright on what he should not be doing. But that's what happens when you're only 16 months old. 17 months old?
How old is that kid? It changes. What is it? It changes.
February, March, April, May, 16 and a half months old. I was right the first time. I knew this. Yeah, and so it's just trying to figure out what's going to work for you. Because like also if you're always on the move, having a specific potty seat probably won't work for you. Because then, I mean, they do make them now. Like the one that your mom has folds up and could technically fit in a purse. Because it's flat and it's small. It basically just makes your normal toilet seat a little bit smaller, but keeps everything at the same level. So you could take that with you, potentially. But then that's also a gross thing that you have to carry around with you. And I don't know if you want to do that. So like if you're constantly on the move, like you're constantly going to parks or the zoo or museums and stuff, places where they don't always have child-sized potties, you probably just want to go straight with the big toilet seat. Or you want to say, we're going to stay at home for the next week until we have all this sorted out, and then we'll start going out into the world again. I don't know. The next tip is, so tip number 7 is make it fun. Add food coloring to the water so they can watch it change colors as they pee. If you're potty training a boy, the first tip is to have them sit down first and then slowly work to standing up. Because otherwise they have to think too long about which method they're going to use, and sometimes that extra 2 seconds is just not time that you have. So get them to master sitting on the potty and going that way. And then you can introduce standing up. When you introduce standing up, you can put some Cheerios in the toilet so they have something to aim at. Or if you're Pampers.com, because they don't want to use branded cereal, they just say, O-shaped breakfast cereal.
I don't know if I want Cheerios down my toilet pipes.
So, extra life tip. You don't want to put anything in your toilet that did not come out of your body or cannot dissolve in 10 seconds. So like paper towels, not meant to go down the toilet because they take way longer than 10 seconds to dissolve. Diaper wipes, not meant to go down the toilet. Any of those wipes that are marketed as flushable wipes, not actually flushable. Don't do it. The sewer system hates you for using them.
Seriously.
Yeah. So Cheerios are fine. They'll dissolve. It's okay.
Tip number 8, have naked/underwear time.
For your child, I mean, you can participate as well if you want, but don't open the door if any of your neighbors knock.
So lots of kids don't realize that they have, gone in a pull-up or a diaper because the material is designed to keep their skin dry. By having a, quote, naked time or big kid underwear time, they learn more about what it feels like when they go and can start to associate that with before they go. Things might get a little messy, but quite a few parents say that once they go through the first day or two, it was smooth sailing.
My favorite quote was somebody who said that his wife went away on a girls' weekend that she very much needed. So he covered the couch in plastic and had manly man time with his son where they hung out around the house in underwear and a t-shirt. And he said there were some messes that he had to clean up. But after that weekend, they were good.
Well, if it works.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, that's mildly what we're going to try tomorrow. So we'll see.
We will report back. Or if we don't report back, assume it has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. Tip number 9 is know their fears. Some kids are afraid of going poop on the potty or don't understand how to make their body go to the bathroom. So figuring out their cues can be a big help. So like Lily saying, no, I don't have to go potty. Okay, that means you have to go potty in like 10 seconds. We're going to sit on the potty right now. Let's get this taken care of. Specifically for public restrooms, figure out how you can make your child feel more confident, whether it's making sure you have a strong grip on them, like to help hold them up, covering the automatic sensor so it won't flush on its own, or using big potties at home more often to get used to the size. Yeah, a lot of kids are afraid of the automatic flush toilets. Lily has a mild fear of it that I'm working on. She did not like the toilet at the mound today.
The mound?
The Hopewell mound, yeah.
Did you put her on the potty?
I did, because I thought that her diaper might be dry. I was also really hot and tired at that point, though, because I had not yet recovered from being out in the sun.
So our final tip, don't punish mistakes. And I think this is probably one of the most important tips.
Oh, for sure. Negative reinforcement does not really work to establish behaviors that you want people to keep for forever. Negative reinforcement usually works if you want somebody to like never do something ever again and be super terrified. So like what was really funny is completely unrelated to children. It was like a Tumblr post about a girl whose mom had got a pet goat and tried to teach the pet goat to go potty outside by giving the goat a treat every time it went potty outside. Well, the goat wasn't very bright and decided that because it was getting a treat every time it went potty outside, that meant that every time it peed, it got a treat. So just peeing all over the place. So you have to be careful about how you train these things. Because the other thing that might happen too is that your child...
How is that negative?
That wasn't negative reinforcement. It was a funny story that I thought of that thought was going to be related and then realized it was not related at all to my line of thought. Halfway through saying it, but had to roll with it.
3 days later.
So, like, some kids can become terrified of going to the bathroom because they think something bad might happen. There are a lot of kids with sensory processing disorders that have issues going poop on the toilet. Or just in general, because they do not like the feeling, because sometimes it's painful, you have to work, and they don't really like it. So, helping encourage your kids. Like, let's talk about how, like, everybody makes mistakes. Like, it's okay. We can clean up this mess. Either, like, mama's going to clean it up and you don't have to worry about it, or we can clean it up together if you trust them to help clean it up with you. I don't know, man. You do you.
That would make it worse.
But let's try again later to, like, help set your child up for success. So it's not like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe you peed in your your underwear again and you got pee all over this new rug. Well, why is this new rug out? Why don't you roll it up and throw it in the closet for 2 months?
Seriously.
Also, you can clean the rug. It's fine. So just roll in with the punches. Go take 30 seconds to scream into a pillow if you need to. Don't scream at your child.
Don't do it in front of your child if you're screaming in a pillow.
I don't know. They do it on Lilo and Stitch all the time. I'm waiting for Lily to repeat that behavior.
Lilo and Stitch? You're modeling behavior off of Lilo and Stitch?
No.
Where the social worker was going to take her away? Why did at the end, why didn't they take her away? I don't understand.
Because
there was an alien and that was
because there was an alien, and so she had bought Stitch from the shelter. Therefore, Stitch was now hers, and she owned Stitch.
But he's still a
so
social
they couldn't
worker.
Take Stitch away.
No, I'm talking about Lilo.
But I'm getting there. It's a very long process to get there. So the social worker didn't totally want to tear them apart because it's better if you keep families together. And they had started to like figure out all their ish and get better. So it was going to get better. But so since Lilo owned Stitch, the Galactic Federation couldn't take Stitch away. But the Galactic Federation said, well, one, we're going to be checking in from time to time. And two, this family has to stay together because they are the caretakers of Stitch. So you can't split this family up.
I missed that.
Yeah. And so then Cobra Bubbles is like, dang, I was afraid you were going to say that. This is going to be a trouble explaining to headquarters. Oh, darn, this family gets to stay together that loves each other very much. So.
I mean, she's not a good guardian, though.
Well, part of that is because Lilo was a troubled child.
Well, I know, but
Stitch helped her become not as troubled.
I guess that's the point of that movie.
Yes, the point is they all need each other and they learn and grow together. Also, they super needed David because Nani was hella stressed and she needed help. And David was like all keen to be in a relationship with her and like ready to take on that responsibility of younger sister / child to take care of. So David helped out a lot too.
I don't know why we are talking about Lilo and Stitch, but
Because screaming into a pillow.
Here we are. Yeah, so that family needs help, but they get there in the end.
Just like this conversation.
Yeah, I think we're at the end of our time as well. So, my time on Truth, Fear, and Consequences has expanded my head.
You're back in like, that's like the minor leagues, man. You're in the majors now. You gotta step up your game.
So I am bringing the jokes. I'm bringing all the poop jokes, all the bathroom and potty jokes. So
you got any soap in your bathroom to clean out that potty mouth of yours?
Well, you might be surprised, but poop jokes aren't really my favorite jokes. But
why is that?
They're a solid number 2, though.
Oh my goodness! Make sure you're eating enough fiber, folks.
Are you ready for a poop joke?
I don't think anyone ever is, but go for it.
Well, I'm not. They stink. And then the final one. What does Superman call his bathroom?
Do I want to know?
The Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness. What
Small S, small B. Don't sue us.
So wait, he calls his toilet the big game? That big game in February that nobody's allowed to say the name of? The superb owl, one might say.
We bring the questions here on the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Apparently. Hey, that's outro music. We're supposed to be outroing.
That does it for this week's show. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us at Craft Parenting Podcast on all those platforms. You can also get a hold of us via email, which is craftparentingpodcast@gmail.com.
If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. Make sure to share the show. It's what helps our show grow. If you'd like to send us stuff such as fan mail, craft supplies, or any sanity, or maybe some cleaning supplies, we have a P.O. box.
And all this information is available on our website, which is www.craftparentingpodcast.com.
That's where we post the show notes, plus some blog posts about stuff that doesn't make it into the podcast.
And if you would like to follow me personally on Instagram, you can. My handle is @CraftParentingJoe.
And mine is @Caroline Creates Crafts and Caroline's Creative Crafts on Facebook.
And with that, I'm Joe.
And I'm Caroline.
See you next time on the Craft Parenting Podcast.